A few weeks ago, we were going through this thinking you guys were going to have the season start, and then the match against Mercer gets canceled. Now a second opportunity for a season opener. I guess what's it been like these last few weeks preparing for that match, having it canceled, and then now preparing for another one here Saturday?
Yeah, it was definitely disappointing at first to hear that news, but it's kind of something that we just have to go with the flow with, knowing what the country and the world is going through. Like Travis says, we just have to go with the flow and control what we can control. So we just kind of let it not bother us too much and just moved on and then prepared for this weekend. So we're just really, really excited to get to play this weekend.
Hallie, Jared with the Daily News here again. From that point a few weeks ago up until now, how would you feel like the team has developed or improved from a volleyball standpoint?
I think we have improved incredibly. Like Travis just mentioned, the freshmen, they are night and day from the first week they were here to now. It is just incredible, the improvement that we've all made. And us as seniors, it's so incredible to get the opportunity to train like we've trained, because usually we come in the fall and then play and we're done and we don't get a spring to train anymore. So we feel so blessed to be able to just elevate our game in this last stretch of our career.
Hallie, this is Olivia from the Extra Point. As a senior, how have you and the other seniors kind of adapted your leadership with your team through all this adversity?
Yeah, Travis has definitely talked to all of us just about the leadership aspect and how we have to control the practices and hold our teammates accountable through all of this, because with practicing for so long and not competing, we have to make sure all of our minds are right through all of this, because it's hard to kind of get lackadaisical and all this from just practicing for almost a year straight. So it's been our responsibility this entire time to just hold each other accountable and make sure we're prepared for when we get to play.
Olivia from the Extra Point again, and you are heading into another season of eligibility. How are you feeling knowing that you have a second chance to play?
Yeah, that was probably the best news I've heard in a very long time, to get to hear that I get to play the sport that I've loved for so long another time, an extra time. When Travis asked me, he was like, do you think you want to play this extra year? I was like, yes. I didn't even have to think about it. It was an immediate response. So I couldn't be happier for that. Such a blessing.
Hallie, Jared with the Daily News again. I asked Travis about this. It sounds like you were in the room, but from your perspective, what's the scouting report on UAB and on Middle Tennessee?
Yeah, we've been focusing a lot on ourselves. I think instead of focusing on a scouting report, we've really been narrowed in on what our side of the net is going to look like, because we know if we prepare the right way on our side of the net, we'll be ready to play whoever. So I think we're ready to play them, and I think closer to game day, probably today and tomorrow, we'll gear more towards what that's going to look like. But I think our side of the net will be ready to play them.
Kind of the first question I just started with Hallie, what's it been like these last few weeks going from knowing thinking you're going to have a match to start the season, then having it canceled, and then preparing for Saturday's competition? I guess what's just that whole process been like for you?
Yeah, at first, obviously we're all really sad about that, but we had to kind of understand the situation. COVID is an ever-changing thing. So we were excited to know that we still had an opportunity to play. So at least it's only been a couple weeks. We've been able to prepare and stay positive and get ready for this next opportunity that we have.
Kayland, this is Olivia from the Extra Point. How do you think you and your teammates have grown individually or as a team through the adversity of just canceled matches and adjusting to a fall training season and COVID in general?
I think it's made a lot of us stronger. We become more of a unit and just cohesive together, because we have to lean on each other during this time. Like I said, it's very changing, and it just makes you communicate better with your team. And Travis has done a great job just getting us to communicate and sticking together and working through these challenging times, just like everyone else is facing right now.
Jared with the Daily News again. In these 3 weeks since we last spoke to the team, back then it sounded like the offense was still kind of coming together with some cohesion, just because you hadn't played on the same side of the net. I guess from a volleyball standpoint, what areas do you feel like you guys have improved since that week leading up to that Mercer match that got canceled?
It's really crazy, because these last couple of weeks, I think we have become much better. Like, we have taken a huge step just in the last couple of weeks. So even though our game did get canceled, sadly, I think we took advantage of that and we said, okay, let's push ourselves even harder and be more prepared for this next time that we get an opportunity to step on the court. And I'm very proud of the way that our team has just really put it together these last couple of weeks, and especially people filling roles that they haven't played before. It's just really amazing to see people step up and just become part of this unit.
Hi, Kayland. This is Cassidy from the Herald. So we talked to two of your teammates a couple weeks ago, and the main consensus was that they were very excited about playing this upcoming match that obviously got canceled. But I was wondering, are you or any of your teammates feeling any type of nervousness towards this upcoming match since you guys haven't played competitively in like a year?
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, like you said, we haven't played in almost a year. So, I mean, it gives you a little bit of nerves just because you're like, oh, am I going to do okay? Like, have I prepared myself well enough? But I think we're just all so excited that it just kind of beats out those nerves that we have. And it's just like the light at the end of the tunnel that we've been waiting for.